Aboard a black Toyota Tacoma pickup truck, a murder suspect is being pursued, though without much success, by several dozen police patrols in Southern California. The chase began in San Diego and, based on the suspect's intentions, was heading toward the city of Los Angeles. When the pursuit reached the parking lots of the urban area of Ontario near the city of Riverside, everything seemed to indicate that the police would not be able to stop the driver. That's when, upon seeing the suspect's bold driving, a trucker named Mike Chabon decided to intervene at an intersection while waiting at a traffic light. Bravely, he drove his truck directly into the suspect's vehicle, bringing it to a sudden stop. Although this action allowed the officers to arrest the suspect, the one who took the worst hit was his truck, as the impact severely damaged the chassis, bending it partially and leaving the vehicle inoperable. A few kilometers from Riverside, another police chase took place on the urban streets of Orange County. This high-speed chase ended abruptly when the driver of the sedan crashed directly into a truck that was transporting jet fuel headed to John Wayne Airport in Santa Ana, California. Even after the strong direct impact, one of the suspects still wanted to flee, so he tried to steal a couple of vehicles that were driving through the area at that moment. Despite his effort, he was quickly arrested by police patrols. Meanwhile, inside the stopped car, another pair of criminals were arrested to face charges of evasion and fleeing with property damage. The next protagonist is a man accused of assaulting a law enforcement officer with a deadly weapon. In his attempt to avoid arrest, the suspect began driving recklessly through urban areas at high speed, running several red lights in the process, hitting vehicles on the spot, and invading the opposite lane. Fortunately, or perhaps unfortunately, for our fugitive, a distracted flatbed tow truck driver was pulling out of his parking spot, just as this criminal was speeding through the area. This action, unintentionally, hindered the suspect's escape, who, while trying to switch lanes, got stuck due to the trucker's unexpected maneuver. Feeling cornered and out of desperation, the suspect crashed into the flatbed, completely frustrating his escape as several police patrols arrived. Interestingly, it was the truck driver himself who later clarified that he had no intention of helping the officers and that he was simply trying not to block the chase when the suspect hit his vehicle. Even so, the authorities took the opportunity to remind civilians not to get involved in police chases, as there is a risk that the criminals may be armed, and the situation could become even more dangerous. Although high-speed chases have a much greater potential risk of ending in a more tragic way, in this case something fortunately very particular happened. This accident took place on one of the busiest highways in Los Angeles, when police officers were chasing a reckless driver at very high speed. Trying to avoid a disastrous high-speed collision, the suspect attempted to evade the police by escaping through an off-ramp. What he didn't expect was that, while trying to dodge a delivery truck that was moving slowly halfway through the curve, the truck ended up cornering him, crashing into him and ripping off the driver's side door. Although the truck driver continued his usual delivery route, the fugitive was unable to continue the chase and was ultimately arrested. The following are terrifying scenes that took place in the city of Syracuse, in the state of Utah. What was supposed to be just a simple outing turned into a scene of pursuit and danger, when a 14-year-old boy had the brilliant idea of taking his grandfather's Hyundai Veloster without permission. The grandfather immediately notified the authorities in order to stop him. In videos captured by cell phones, you can see how, in his desperation, the boy tries to escape by driving through a crowded park, where he nearly runs over several pedestrians in the process. The hero in this situation was a brave driver who, behind the wheel of his pickup, accelerated to crash head-on into the fugitive, stopping him instantly.
About 3 of them almost got hit. They actually had to jump out of the way, and I would say he had to have been going at least 60. I mean, in the parking lot.
As if inspired by the fact of being in Hollywood, The suspect in this pursuit, accused of having stolen the Toyota Corolla featured in this video, lived his 15 minutes of fame. Although in this case it was approximately an hour. During his run, the thief had a first crash, which didn't help much since he instantly fled the scene at what seemed to be the top speed reached by a Toyota Corolla. In his apparent escape, the driver performs dangerous traffic stops, trying at all costs to avoid the patrol cars that had been deployed in the area. After remaining free and continuing with his adventure, the driver has a second crash, which doesn't stop him either. In an attempt to stop him, the police throw out their spike strip systems on the avenue, but fail in their attempt. Curiously, the suspect makes a peculiar stop next to a group of civilians, and it doesn't seem like he's asking them for directions, because he's lost, since he has to speed away quickly. Minutes later, he's seen driving through parking lots in urban areas while talking on the phone, as the police appear to have switched to merely playing the role of spectators. Continuing with his idea of being in a movie, the suspect is seen once again making a stop, in what seems to be a cigarette trade with a passing driver, until a bit later, a new character finally appears. It's a civilian trying to do good behind the wheel of his pickup, with which he attempts to block the suspect's path. It's at this moment when the real pursuit begins. The man in the pickup gets so close to the suspect that it almost seems like he's harassing him. It's only then that the police authorize the intervention of a small group of patrols, although the driver decides not to hand the pursuit over to the officers. Even though the uniformed officers repeatedly informed the pickup driver that his participation was not necessary, he, after some truly skillful maneuvers, finally managed to corner and block the suspect. In the end, although the man in the pickup was also sadly arrested, he earned everyone's respect.
Albuquerque, New Mexico, a pursuit of armed suspects.
Although a bit old, this recording from the dashboard of a police patrol car perfectly captures the moment when some car thieves try to escape on a high-speed highway in the United States. The officers called for help over the radio to stop this stolen vehicle and its armed occupants, but they did not expect that the first to respond to their call would be this fearless trucker who was driving in the same direction on the highway.
Fortunately, one of the truckers is an ex-deputy sheriff from Alabama.
Determined to help, this trucker showed extraordinary skill behind the wheel. His task was to prevent the thieves from passing him, pushing them repeatedly, even off the road itself. Defending his position with unbreakable fierceness, the thieves quickly realized that trying to pass the trucker could mean losing their lives.
Missing another police car, the suspects pull back onto the road. Now it's getting deadly. What happens next?
After several attempts, they give up, stopping on the side of the road. As for the driver, it is presumed that he was an assistant to a former sheriff from Alabama.
Okay, we got him. Thank you, sir. Anytime, officer. And he's in Gorman.
In this last video, although not clearly, you can see how a small sedan tries to escape from the police in an assumed high-speed chase on a highway heavily trafficked by large vehicles. Although an initial maneuver helped him slow down in time to get around a truck and evade the police, his luck quickly ran out when he was forced to go between two trucks.
Look at that, he hits that one semi. It certainly, oh, look at this. Oh my goodness.
To his surprise, both truck drivers coordinated to block his path in a team maneuver. The car was trapped between the cabs of both heavy trucks, thanks to the quick reaction of the agile truckers, who were later awarded honors for their bravery.